Guys, it's occurred to me that I might owe you all an explanation. So I should get on that. Hello guys, welcome. If you've already seen my channel before, welcome back. I'm the Philadelphia Whovian, and don't worry, it's not alcohol in this cup, it's just iced tea. Though in the prudential light, that can be kind of strong as well. Let's do this. Alright. When it comes to Doctor Who, we know that there is just a whole ocean, and I mean ocean, of audio adventures, particularly with the 8th Doctor. With quite a few different Doctors, of course, not just 8, you got the 6th Doctor, the 5th Doctor, 7th Doctor, etc. and so forth. Even the 10th Doctor, I believe. And there are probably more of them for all I know. But yeah, there is a whole vast ocean, and I mean vast ocean, of audio adventures when it comes to Doctor Who. And now, when it comes to Doctor Who and the audio adventures, guys, I acknowledge it's really cool that we have them. It is cool and absolutely amazing. But as people on my channel know, I know little, very little, about the audios, and I don't own any either. And I am not interested in going out in the future and buying any of the audio adventures of Doctor Who. And this is very difficult for me because there are people who oftentimes are like, well, the 8th Doctor is the best Doctor, you know why? Because of his audio adventures. You should really go see his audio adventures. Some people are just straight up, you know how they sometimes give you this feeling of, well, you don't listen to the audios. Sorry, I said watch. Well, you don't listen to the audios. You call yourself a Doctor Who fan. To be a really well-rounded Doctor Who fan, you should really listen to the audios. If you don't, yeah, you're not that big of a fan. Okay, they may not say it directly, but you know they're really thinking it. You can sense it in the tone of their voice. And you're like, damn, okay. First of all, I owe you no explanation, but I'm going to give you an explanation anyway. This is what you're thinking when you're talking to them. You're like, I owe you no explanation. Maybe I should give an explanation anyway. Damn it. Okay, so before I begin, let you guys know, those of you on my channel who actually really like listening to the audio adventures, good for you. I wish I was you. I wish I had your drive and your impulses, but I just don't. I'm going to explain why. Here are my 3 reasons, I think at least 3 reasons, for why I do not listen to the audio adventures. 1, it's for a reason that no one ever wants to admit because people hate talking about this word, but it's the truth. Number 1, money! Guys, I'll be honest, I don't have the budget, I don't have the money to go out and buy audio adventures all the time. Even 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 over time, that can accumulate with me. I don't have the pin money because I'm always busy saving up because I'm always worried about potential bills, or I'm worried about the future, about not having a job in the future. So I always keep money saved aside. I don't even touch because I want to save it in case something happens, a rainy day scenario. I don't even touch that money because I'm literally protecting my future that I know is going to occur one day where no matter what I do, I'm going to be out of work and I need to use those funds. But when it comes to my spending money, even that I gotta safeguard, and I gotta save it for mostly necessities. So, also, when I do go out and buy Doctor Who stuff, it's DVDs of the classic show, so I can fully get the full collection. As you guys have watched my channel before, you know in America, for the longest time, Classic Who was extremely expensive to buy. I had to save up to buy classic DVDs. And there's still a couple I do want to get that I have not gotten yet. I'm always saving up money for my Doctor Who collection, but I'm saving it up for the show. Yeah, so I just don't, truth is, I really don't have the money at all to go out and buy audio adventures like that at all. And if there's a way to get them for free, that's awesome. Like, there's like a secret website somewhere, that's great. But here comes my second reason for why I'm just not that emotionally invested in going out and listening to audio. Second reason, I'm not an audio person. Alright, I should explain. In life, there are 3 types of people who learn things: visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. Visual are people who mostly retain things through seeing it. Auditory are those who can retain things through hearing it. Kinesthetic, we learn by doing things. So we actually learn and we also remember things by doing something while we're learning it, so it sticks to our memory better. I am by nature a kinesthetic learner. I learn more by hands-on doing things. But of course, when you're watching something or hearing a story, it is more of a visual or an auditory performance, not a kinesthetic one. So I rely upon the next way I know of learning things that I have some ability at. Visual. After being a kinesthetic learner, what's the next way that I can learn things the best? Visual learning. If I visualize it and I see it and I can easily, identify with it through the visual medium, I can retain it better. And also, when it comes to just watching things on TV, how else do I retain things? By having a book in front of me, a physical book, so I can read. Those who have watched my channel before know that I have read Doctor Who novelizations. Perfectly fine with that. They're not expensive usually. They're actually quite cheap to get them if they're used. And oftentimes they're novelizations of the classic show. So when I'm flipping through the pages, I have a visual thing in my hand that I can read. And also, I'm feeling it in my hand, so it's also a kinesthetic experience. I'm learning through touching and through seeing. So it's still a visual thing for me. And I see the words on the page. People also know, who watched my channel before, when I'm watching the show, I often am watching it with subtitles. So I can see the lines when actors are speaking. I am just naturally kinesthetic and then a visual learner. It gets me an extra oomph when it comes to the subtitles. It helps me out. The last thing I am is auditory. What I mean by that is I'm not an auditory learner. I don't retain things through hearing them. In fact, sometimes if I have something, it's all auditory, I actually begin to nod off because it's like the constant noise kind of sings me to sleep. It's just the way it is. I can't control it. Those people who think people who cannot retain and things from an auditory sense or can't listen to audio Doctor Who, that's something about their brain that shows they're not that intelligent. No, it's not. It's just the way our brains are set up from an education standpoint. We naturally just don't retain things through hearing it. We're not audio people. And there's nothing a lot of us can really do about that. It's just the way it's not even a muscle. You can kind of work one. It's just your natural habit. Now, the third reason for why I do not buy audio adventures. Those who watched my channel before know that I also really like to write Doctor Who fanfiction for fun. When you are trying to write Doctor Who fanfiction, audio is not your friend. I'm telling you right up, the audios of Doctor Who is not your friend, and sometimes it can even be your enemy because it makes you all turned around. There are 2 instances where I did listen, even though I don't own audio adventures, I listened to just enough of them to realize these stories, 1, kind of contradicted each other, and 2, I found out very quickly when reading about these audio adventures that the Doctor, especially the 8th Doctor, got amnesia a lot. Like, literally, it's like he was rebooted. His memory was lost, so he can start things all over again, or go in a whole different adventure than the one he went to before. I'm just saying that, and I understand that. Amnesia, I get it's a very enticing thing to do. I've done it. It makes perfect sense when you got a time traveler with all these adventures, every now and again, him to suffer from memory loss. That makes sense. But when you are a writer, trying to write for a character who has had amnesia quite often, and I don't even know how often he's got amnesia, he has stories in the audio adventures that contradict each other, or they don't always seem to work in a continuous world, it's hell for you. Because you don't know what to write. Because you spend the entire time thinking, is what I'm writing now going to contradict something I'm going to write later, or contradict what happened in the audios? You don't know. It's just so scary. I literally would get no writing done because I would spend my entire time as a writer being worried that anything I wrote contradicted another adventure at the 8th Doctor or any Doctor in the audios in the Big Finish did have. And that's why Big Finish is something I kind of actively avoid. Not because I do not respect that medium, I totally do, but it's 1, I can't afford to buy a lot of it. 2, as I said before, by golly guys, I'm not an auditory learner. And number 3, I would not get any writing done for fear that I am contradicting something that happened in Big Finish. It's not a fun feeling when you can't write because you're afraid to write, because you're afraid of anything you write not working in the grand scheme. Or something happens where the character should have forgotten it because he forgets things a lot. It's just not easy for me. So that's, guys, that's my explanation about why, if you guys love audio, you love Big Finish, good for you. Please just don't hate me or don't judge me or criticize me because I don't listen to Big Finish or audios. It's just not my prerogative at this time for those three main reasons. But I totally respect it as a medium. I get why people love it. Please, it's just not my thing right now for those three reasons. And guys, thank you so much for listening. I hope you guys understand why I do love Big Finish. I respect it. It's just not my thing. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again very soon with something else entirely different. Bye guys.